Hello there. Hello to you. You are welcome to my platform. I want to show you how to make this fan today using uh gallon, this plastic container gallon to create the hand fan skeleton. So the major thing that's the focus of this video is how to use this gallon to create the hand fan skeleton. So is the gallon is already bad, as in spoiled. It's no longer useful because it has holes in it. So instead of throwing it away, I turn it into a valuable uh, material. So out of this 1 gallon, I can create two beautiful bridal hand fan. So just follow me, watch the video and see what I am doing. So as you can see, I started by cutting out the first face of the gallon and I cut it from the top so that I will have space to create the pattern I want. So I said I can use 1 gallon to create up to 2 bridal hand fan. And of course, this is the only one I'll be using to create the first bridal hand fan. So right away, I'll just use my chalk to first of all draw out the shape I want. The shape or pattern of this bridal hand fan, we call the skeleton purse, as in purse skeleton. Some people will say purse. It is me, I don't know, but like purse, the bag that ladies carry. It has a hand that allow you to hold it. So that's why we call it the purse skeleton. So you can see what I have drawn out there using the chalk. That is exactly how I want the skeleton to look like. Then I'll simply uh, use my scissors to trim it to shape. Yes, the scissors can actually cut through the gallon because it's not that thick. It's thick, but it's not so thick that scissors cannot cut through it. So scissors can cut through it. Actually, scissors can cut through it. So um, so I because of the inner part I need to cut through, I'll be using the what they call this, soldering iron. Soldering iron. It helps to, like, you we use it to trim even fabric. So it's very hot. You have to be very careful with it so that it will not, like, uh maybe injure your hand. So let's assume that we do not have this soldering iron. What can we use in place? The only thing I need to do is to create a opening or an opening where my scissors can penetrate to cut this uh, shape out. So if you are using only the scissors, you might not be able to do it. But if you do not have this uh, instrument in my hand, which I'm calling the soldering iron, it's not a problem. You can use the local method of putting your kitchen knife on the stove or on the gas fire to become hot, and then use it to pierce a hole on that part, which will now allow your scissors to penetrate the the material, the gallon or whatever, and then be able to cut it. So it's not compulsory you have the soldering iron. I hope I've been able to clear that. So if you look at what I have now, I already have the shape that I want. Now, if you leave it that way, the handle of the fan might just be too light. So I doubled the handle. So I cut out two extra pieces. I added one to the back. I added another to the front. So it will now make that part I want to use as the handle to be strong. So you can see it's strong now. So what I'll do is I'll simply use my hot glue to fix it. Nothing will happen to it. So don't just think about hot glue. Will it not pull? Nothing is going to pull it. Remember that we are going to wrap it. So when you wrap, you help to secure it more. So there is no way it's going to pull. You don't need to stress yourself looking for any other means of securing it. Just use your hot glue to secure it. It will stay perfect. And then that part you are using as the handle now will become thick enough, because if it's too flexible, it will not be able to withstand the uh, pressure of usage, when you hold, and it will just become too flexible. But one thing I love about this particular bridal fan is that if you use it to like fan yourself, is is actually very flexible. It's not like the skeleton that we make out of uh, uh, plyboard. We have this very soft plyboard we use to create skeleton, that is fan skeleton, but there's no way it can actually be as flexible as a plastic. So for this particular one, it's very flexible, and when you use the fan to like fan yourself, it actually produces very good fresh air for you. Very, very nice. If you use this method, you will not even want to go for the wooden skeleton, because this is very lovely. I don't know if I might come up with other videos of the patterns that you can still create using this gallon, but for today, let's just do this one and let's see how satisfying it will look. So now I can actually glue my feathers directly on the plastic, but I do not advise it. So I usually cover my fan skeleton with the same color of, I use the material that is the same color with the feathers. At this point, you might be wondering what I'm trying to do. If you practice this, you will notice that at that edge, the edge you cut out, there is this part that is already um deep, is curved in. So after trimming out your skeleton, it will be necessary for you to like try to flatten it, and the only way you can flatten it is to use something hot on it and then hold it in place. It will now become flat, so no part of it will be galloping anymore. Is that okay? So now you see I have wrapped it. The fan skeleton is ready. Ready. Pam. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'll use trimming. I just felt like working with um silver trimming. If not, you can also work with gold, but I chose silver because this is burnt orange. So silver will come out on burnt orange more than gold will. The only gold that will really come out very well on it, I think, should be champagne gold, but I prefer the silver. Is that okay? So I'm just going to wrap through the handle of the skeleton. I'll wrap the handle of the fan skeleton using this trimming. Now, please remember that um, the material under it now is burnt orange. You understand? So while you are wrapping, while wrapping, ensure that your wrapping is very close. Try to make sure that the wrapping is closed. If your wrapping is not close enough, the probability of the material you have on the base showing will always be there. So you can see how close I wrap, and this is how it looks. The first trimming I used is a very tiny trimming, but this second one you are seeing with me is fat and it carries some level of design on it. I love it when I'm actually doing my designs. So I just want to first of all use it to secure the final edge of this fan skeleton, so that when I'm doing my work, I'll be able to hide every part that is not necessary. So I did this for both the front and the back, or let me say I did this for the both sides. Eh? All right. So after doing this, it will be time for me to add the uh, fan feathers to it. All right. When I don't have enough feathers, I pluck out these feathers to make the work. But when I have enough feathers, I don't bother plucking out the feather. I just use it like that. So the length of the feathers I have to do this work is about 3 yards. That is 3 yards. You know that in a roll of these feathers, it contains 2 yards of the feathers, but I used 1.5 and a half roll of the feather. So if I am to measure it, it will measure 3 yards. So it's enough for me to do my work without uh, having to pluck the feathers. So I just went ahead to glue it straight away, the way you see me gluing it now. I just went ahead to do it like that. So while you are putting it, remember that it is not a straight surface, it is curved. And because of the fact that it is curved, you also have to work in a way that your feathers will be curved. So you can see that while I was placing these feathers, I try as much as possible to curve it. It is this curving that will give it this wideness. If you look at the skeleton from the start, you see that by the time I finished trimming my fan skeleton, it was actually very, very small. It was very small. But when I finished the work, of course, you saw the finished work at the beginning of this video. You saw how full it was looking, how big it was looking. So it is because of the ability for me to spread it out like this. So you must ensure that you spread it out. You must ensure that you are able to curve it properly. If you do not curve it properly, if you don't curve it properly, it will reduce the size of your bridal and fan. So this is just one layer of what I added, or that is the end of the fan, please. One layer of the feathers, please. So to finish each part of this uh, bridal and fan, I did 3 layers. I'll repeat. It's not compulsory you do what I did, but just for the purpose of emphasis and for those that are just learning, I did 3 layers. I did 3 layers. So I did the first, second, and the third layer. Now, you can as well place a feather on top of that part that I have already designed. It's not compulsory you leave it open. It's just meant to do a finishing work on the edge first. You understand? All right, so as it is now, I am done with fixing of the feathers on both sides. So both the back and front, I have fixed the feathers. So what I am doing now is to cover some parts, let me say up to like 3 inches to 4 inches with the design, because I need to decorate it. And for me to start, I will not just start at the finishing part, but I will move my trimming to the position where I would like the design to get to. So that's the reason I have to like move my hands backward and start by gumming that first uh, one. So you see that while I was placing the first one on it, you can still see some part of the burnt orange showing. But as I complete the work, I did up to 2 layers. I already have a layer under, but apart from that particular layer, I'm not really considering that one. So I did extra 2 layers to be able to take the shape I want. I use 2 layers of the design. So if you look at where my hand is there, you will see that it's like a mark of burnt orange is still showing. That should not just pose any form of challenge. I will surely cover it up. What I'm doing with the first one is just taking the measurement of where I want the design to get to. You understand? All right. So after placing this, I'll go ahead to use stones. But if you look at my placement, I am not in a hurry. I am placing it carefully. I'm placing it gradually. Sometimes the hot glue and feather is a work that you want to do with care, because before a little part of this hot glue just touch the feather, it has a way of uh, altering whatever you've done. If you are not careful, you have to just be careful. That's just the bottom line. All right, so before I proceed on this video, I would just like to ship this in. If today is your first time visiting this wonderful channel and you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so before leaving. It matters a lot to me. You understand? I love it when you subscribe. It gives me the desire to bring more to you. And of course, I don't want my channel to be boring. So as much as possible, I want to give you the best. But please do subscribe to the channel. And also do not forget to hit on the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. Please don't mind that I am very slow with my teaching. I believe that there are some persons that might just be beginners, that I might have some beginners here. So it is better I make my video to be able to cater for both beginners and those that are not beginners, so that the beginners can listen carefully to the instruction and the instruction will be clear to them. So that's the reason I am very slow with what I am doing. And again, some persons that have been sending me messages to ask me, how do I create my fan skeleton? You made me come up with this, because I'm thinking that it's not everybody that can get, what do I call it now? It's not everybody that can get the wooden skeleton in their market. But if you have the feathers, you are good to go. There are a lot of things that we can use to create the fan skeleton which I will be bringing to you. So please get ready for Creative Ends platform, because creativity is my hobby. As in, if I hear am, who dey breathe? See am, creativity is my hobby. I love being creative and I always want to be. And God has been my help. Is that okay? All right. So you can see that I am actually topping the design. So every part eh, that will show that uh, burnt orange feathers, I am covering them completely, as in completely. So you will not see them again. So right now you can see that I am done with that, and the fan is good to go. Both the back and the front side is already covered, and you can never tell that this is a gallop that I use in forming this fan skeleton. So what I'm doing is just uh, adding some bit of embellishment on it, so that it can carry this glitter, this kind of reflection. That's what brings the beauty in it. That's just what brings the beauty in it. So while I try to attach or fix these glitters on it, I also try as much as possible to be careful. You can use UHU glue for this work as well. So if you do not have um, the hot glue machine, don't worry. Use your UHU glue and you will achieve the same result. So um, after fixing the first ones, I also use a bigger um glitter, a bigger one. I use the small one for the inner part, and then I used a bigger one on the edge for the finishing. And you will see how the finishing is. You see the glittering. So without this, you will not really get that perfect beauty in the Handfan that you need. So you see how beautiful it is looking. All right. So something else that you have to do, please just take a look. You see that this fan is not equal, is unequal, and you cannot hand over a fan like this to your client, so you trim. So you carefully look at it. Please don't be in a hurry, because this trimming, as simple as it looks, has the ability to condemn this fan completely after all your sweat and all resources used. So you have to trim carefully. Is that okay? So you have to really look at it, see the part that is unequal, and make sure that that is the only part that you are removing. So this is just all for today's tutorials, and I hope, I really